8 years ago, I came to Washington, D.C., escaping prison from Egypt. I was heading an international human rights organization during the 2011 uprising. In the state media, we were portrayed as spies, accused of espionage. I found myself in exile and sentenced to 5 years in prison and a $60 fine. So I vowed that given that high cost that I paid, that I will continue fighting injustice in all the ways I can. I met amazing people when I came to DC. In fact, I got a lot of support. I also worked and collaborated with incredible analysts and renowned academics that I've learned a lot from. But I also met people who were writing policies for countries that they have never been to, and they don't even know its culture or local dynamics. But seriously, in our field, uninformed policy could actually cost lives and could be really dangerous. We challenged this approach at the Tahrir Institute for Middle East Policy, or TIMEP. It's the organization I have led since its foundation in 2013, with the aim of bringing the local voices to participate in policies that are affecting their lives. For decades, our pursuit for justice have been based on a particular approach where we are pleading to the international community and the powerful government to put pressure on those autocrats and repressive regimes to stop their abuse. Even if this has worked in the past, right now it doesn't work because these governments, the world leadership today, is part of the problem. So we need new tools. We need new approaches to try to win this battle in a different way. And I think one of the things that enables us to connect more than before is technology. As I was building the Crisis Accountability Network project and trying to find ways for civil society to collaborate across the globe, I found that technology has been really instrumental in that part. Actually, although the COVID-19 pandemic is tragic, but the silver lining is that crises are the best thing that could happen to accountability. People start paying attention, asking questions about budget, healthcare capacity. They ask questions down to the minute details of how many beds do we have or how many ventilators do we have. They don't just ask questions, demand answers from their governments. As we were trying to go through the first step for this project, documenting the different abuses that happen across the globe under COVID-19, we found unprecedented atrocities. And the worst part is that those who were hit hardest were the healthcare workers. In only 4 months, 3,000 healthcare workers lost their lives, and 250,000 got infected. These figures, as tragic as they are understated. Those healthcare workers who were subject to stressful conditions, who were not given the proper PPE and the proper COVID-19 testing, and were overworked and underpaid, were afraid to speak out in fear of reprisal. And the group that was hit the most within the healthcare workers are the marginalized group and the ethnic minorities. In the UK, 60% of the healthcare workers who died are from the Black and ethnic minority groups. In the US, it's 58%. This was not inevitable. These people did not have to die. And there must be a way that those who were responsible for this be held accountable for it. And this is when I came up with the idea of the mask, a tool that uses technology to provide those people an opportunity and a safe space to report anonymously on those abuses and get matched with the kind of support they needed, whether they need legal support or trauma therapy or social help, and they get matched through this kind of technology. I got connected with this amazing group in Slovenia. They are tech activists working for human rights and technology. Their name is Today is a New Day. I told them about the idea. They loved it. And they were like really excited about the concept of playing with AI for justice. Applications like Mask have the opportunity to benefit from the advancement of technology. Just as governments could illegally use technologies for surveillance and corporations could use it for consumer control and other purposes, here's Mask, an example of a tool that employs advanced algorithmic technologies and machine learning in favor of the vulnerable and the marginalized for a change. This is the simplified scheme of using Mask. Users fill in their reports anonymously, the data gets processed and analyzed. When similar reports of the same issue or incident are identified, they get matched and connected to different sources of support from Mask's network of registered and verified members. Peers also get to connect together, if they choose to, for independent collective action where there's a safe space for sharing and organizing. So, this is how you use your Mask, in a way that allows us to protect ourselves against reprisals, get over our own biases, and become more just and inclusive. After registering anonymously and choosing your language, you get to freely report on the issues you want to talk about in your own way. This is where potentials of technologies like GPT-3 could help convert these informally written paragraphs into codes that gets integrated into the model. You continue on with filling the report while shaping it. Here, you have a drop-down list to identify the place. What's important is the key tab on the low right side over here that says, I can't find this on the list, which allows you to add any location to it, which then becomes part of the application and available for others. This kind of machine learning approach carries on at all stages. For example, when you're asked to categorize the issue or type of abuse you were exposed to, and this is of course a hypothetical case, the drop-down list of issues you get is based on the COVID-19 healthcare workers' Bill of Rights. But this is based on a US context. It does not speak to a wider frame of reference on issues that others in the rest of the world are exposed to, and those who are subject to multi-layers of abuses such as sexual assault, racism, or threats. Again, here you get the opportunity to add and shape the model by adding a category to the list. By using such approaches, we do not only employ machine learning or AI to provide a safe space for reporting and collective action, we are claiming an inclusive and less biased space. Mask is named in honor of the healthcare workers who lost their lives defending us. But it is applicable in so many different ways other than just for healthcare workers. It is for any marginalized group who fear reprisal, who fear coming forward because of the consequences they may face, who fear coming forward individually. I found out about my indictment over Twitter, about my mom's death over Facebook, and I watched my verdict over YouTube. This doesn't say anything about social media. It says a lot about our own injustices, our broken systems that we need to fix, our own biases that we create. It's ironic, we keep building things and try to make the best out of them and then get scared of them. It's like raising our children and try to give them the best education and knowledge and then be afraid if they would outsmart us. And I'm a little afraid of my kids. And I can safely say that because I know that my 11-year-old twins are not watching right now because anything that goes beyond 2 minutes is boring for them. Yes, there are huge concerns about data protection, about manipulation and government surveillance. But all these issues are not issues of advanced technology or artificial intelligence. It is our problem. We create those injustices. And it's our responsibility to create technologies and the type of technologies that would enhance our ability to fight injustice. We are responsible and we do have agency. And we have an opportunity to use this to fight injustice and stand against repression in all the ways we can. Thank you for indulging me.